So we are at the very heart of what we do. We're a product
Hmm.
development company. So we have a number of engineers. We always keep our ear to the ground. So like trade shows and even these forums are very vital for us to like listen and learn. I'd say that's one of our greatest assets online is listening.
I would like to take a break from today's episode to thank our sponsor, ShipForward. If you run an e-commerce business that ships products from Asia to North America, you know how stressful the journey can get. With too many suppliers, emails, quotes, customs, delays, it's a lot. ShipForward makes it simple. It's a digital freight forwarding platform built for small and mid-sized businesses. Think booking a shipment like booking a flight. Just search, compare, and book, done in minutes. Instant quotes, express shipping options, real-time tracking, and 24/7 human support. Add services like customs clearance and cargo insurance for the full end-to-end experience. You can try it for free today at shipforward.com. And I want a good show, damn it. Ready for a good show?
Doing awesome, yeah. I'm excited to talk to you, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Yes!
I've always been doing flying into archery, and my dad said, "Hey, you guys want to start an archery store?"
Yes, that's how it is.
Yes, of course. Let's do this together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ecomm Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ecomm Show. As usual, I am your host, Andrew Maff, and today I am joined by the amazing Merv Campbell, who is the GM over at Omni Cubed. Merv, how you doing, buddy? You ready for a good show?
I'm ready for a good
Yes,
show. Let's do
super
this.
excited to have you on the show. I already love your attitude, which is great. That always makes it that much better. I love starting these off. Yes,
Happy
I love
days.
starting these off relatively stereotypically. So just tell us a little bit about your background,
Yes.
where you started your career, how you got into Omni Cubed, where you guys are at. We'll take it from there. Okay.
So probably by my accent already, I'm not from
Oh.
America. So I'm born and bred in Northern Ireland. Lived there for 34 years. Started my career as a aeronautical engineer with Bombardier there. Obviously, we all know what happened with September 11th, and sadly, a lot of people lost their jobs, and I was one of them. And then took a kind of sharp career change into welding, fabricating, and then ended up building double-decker buses for 12 years. So did that. My wife's originally from the States. She's from Placerville here in California. So we had two kids in Ireland and we thought, hey, let's make the move. So came over here. We've been here now over 9 years, which is hard to believe. Love it here. Had a third kid. Just absolutely love California. The weather is fantastic. People complain, but I'm like, hey, when you've lived in rain
Yeah,
for
really?
34 years, you're glad to dry out a little bit for sure. So no, and then about 9 years ago, was approached by the company here to come. Had no idea why, but then was offered a job through some family friends and stuff. And I've been here over 9 years and absolutely love it. An absolutely fantastic company to work for. Great family feel, wonderful core values, all moving in the one direction. And yeah, that's basically my background of where I came from and why
Nice.
I'm here.
So tell me about Omni Cubed. What is it that, tell us some insight into the product line, why you guys kind of got started in there, and let's take it from there.
So there's four owners. They are two married families. So there's one family that's got a husband and wife, and also another husband and wife on this side. And they came together about 22 years ago. They've been friends. They went through the two men had been through college and different things, and so they came. They started working together, and then they were like, "Hey, let's start a business." And so they saw a need in the market for a certain type of product. They made that product, which at that time was the lamp clamp. So we make products for the stone industry. Now we do it for glass and tile, but then it was primarily stone. And so they made what was called a lamp clamp. They made it in their garage, or their garage, as I like to say, and started fabricating, making them. And then they would get in their truck and they would drive everywhere across as much of California as they could possibly hit, trying to sell this product. It was a slow burner. And then they had a kind of eureka moment when they went to a trade show in Las Vegas, and it just exploded from that. And so we now are the beneficiaries of that 22 years later. We're a thriving company. We're growing, not without difficulties in the last number of years, obviously with COVID and all that good stuff, but we are growing, and we just hired a couple of new people last month. We're looking to hire some more this month. And so the company's definitely moving in the right direction, thank goodness. But yeah, we are so grateful for our 4 owners for sticking it out those hard and difficult years. And now we get to reap the reward. So yeah,
how are
it's awesome.
you finding like your target customers? Obviously, you're not going door to door like you once were, but sounds like you did some trade shows. But what's the other approach? Because I know it's primarily a B2B e-commerce play, correct?
So we have what's called distributors. So we have guys and gals who we ship product to, and then they kind of obviously they get a cut of it, so they get their share. But then they are the ones who have all of the insight, all the context. They've got their little black book that's full of people. They're able to call them up, and so that's about 98% of the business. They do like, just a shout out to them. They do a phenomenal job for us. Our distributors are amazing. We cannot be where we are without them. And so we're very thankful for them. We always push people that direction simply because they have that relationship. And we kind of just fill in the cracks wherever it's needed on our website. So people call up, they're looking for something. We normally send them out to the distributor. And if they're like, well, there's no one in my region, who do I talk to? Then we'll take that up. But yeah, it's primarily distributors.
Interesting.
At the minute,
so usually you kind of see that, not exactly 100% flipped around, but usually you see it. It's a little bit more D2C, and then the supplemental of it is the distributor side. So why lean in so much on the distributors as opposed to kind of going the D2C route?
Simply because we actually don't have a dedicated sales team. We rely on our distributors. We rely on their sort of area that they can fill out, and they're like United States, huge. Like I'm a little guy from Ireland, and it takes me 6 hours to go from top to bottom. I can do that in California like 3 times over and still not hit the bottom. So there's just a wider range. There's a lot more people. They are well established, and with being in the stone industry, a lot of people will buy consumables. So they'll buy like their tapes, their polishing pads, whatever else. Well, that's a wonderful time to say, hey, you need a new cart? Do you need any of the Omni Cubed's aqua jaws? Any sort of stuff like that. So they can help facilitate that. So they do a really good job at following up. So if they get a lead, blah, 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 they'll follow up with it. And so, yeah, that's
beautiful.
Primarily how it works.
What would you say is like kind of that big struggle? Like if they're the ones doing a lot of the lifting, they're the ones handling most of the sales, you really need relatively limited marketing because they're the ones that are pretty much boots on the ground. So are you doing anything in terms of building that brand awareness to help them make the sale, and you're just funneling them leads, or what's that process?
So how we do it is we look at it as we're the marketing team. So no one knows the tools like we do. We make them I have a machine shop just the other side of this wall. We have an assembly department, puts everything together. So we know how the products are built. We know how to market them. So we take that portion upon ourselves. Not to say those guys don't do their own thing, but for our products, I'd say like 90% of it, the marketing's done by us. We do LinkedIn posts, we do social posts, we do email blasts, and we do as much marketing as you possibly can. And then that generates things then for the distributors. So on like an email blast that goes out, there'll be a tab on it, find your local distributor, put it in, obviously to your zip code, and then you're good to go. But we do a lot of the marketing ourselves. One thing we are pushing out at the minute is training for all these salespeople. So we're setting up webinars, we're setting up one-on-one times where we can use our knowledge to help them become more omnified. And then in due course, then as they go to different installs or they go to different customers, they're able to use that information and
Yeah.
sell the product.
So oddly enough,
Yep.
this space I'm wildly familiar with. Not really sure how I got into
Uh-huh.
it. Mine is it's been in the flooring space. I've worked with uh, um, like commercial HVAC companies or vacuum companies. I've worked with commercial like
Hmm.
concrete grinding companies and things like that. So very interesting
Hmm.
space. The one thing I always learned about it,
Yep.
at least especially with the concrete grinder guys, they're like it's like a the camaraderie in the group is it's like hanging out with the guys where
Yeah.
they're all like, oh yeah,
Yep.
nice job, who did that for you, like it sucks, like they it's hilarious to stay in like one of their Facebook groups or something like that.
Yeah.
Is there something like
Totally.
that similar to this audience that's still kind of like in the tile side or like in any of the glass or stone or anything?
Yeah, there's a lot of different I'm laughing, but there's a lot of different forums and a lot of different like chat rooms and things you can go into. There's the SFA, there's the All Slab Fabbers, there's the NGA, there's Laser Nation, there's a lot of different
Yeah.
areas you can go to. And a lot of it boils down to what I find really encouraging in this section is they want to
Hmm.
help each other. In a lot of other different areas, it's all like hidden. Say, for instance, you learned how to do something. Let's cut a piece of granite. It's difficult. It's hard. There's feeds and speeds. There's blades. There's all of that. A lot of times on those forums, they'll actually just, hey, I cut this. Here's what blade I used. I messed up, but I found out this was a better speed. And they actually help each other, which coming from where I'm from and even building the buses, there was so much like hidden stuff. There was so much secrecy. Don't tell anyone how you do it in case it gets out.
Yeah.
Like, all right, whatever. It's a bus. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not a rocket ship. But anyways, but at least in the stone industry, there is that. It's like brothers in arms. I see that a lot. Same with glazers. There's a lot of glazers who will just freely give up information. Like even where they're like buying things and getting good deals, they'll
Yeah.
happily give that up. Tile guys are the
Hmm.
same. They're like, hey, Floor and Decor has a seal on X, Y, and Z. Go check it out. Or maybe they buy something, they get a coupon, they don't need it, they'll put it up there and someone else can use it. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of camaraderie. They do like to rib each other quite a bit. So if there's like seams or something that's a little bit off, they'll always be like, who in the world did that? Seriously, guys, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. It can get there are times where it
Oh
gets a
yeah.
little hot and heavy, but especially one thing at the minute is machines like CNC
Hmm.
machines that go down and trying to get a tech out to service them. A lot of them will get on there and then at whoever the saw manufacturer is and then just roast them. Um, that's funny to watch. I get my little bucket of popcorn to start watching it to see what are these comments going to be. But no, for the most part, it's really
Yeah.
it's a good humor, which I
It's
really
always I've
appreciate.
always
So.
found that like if you can get into an industry that has groups like that, it makes it so much easier because
Hmm.
once you can get in, you can prove out that we sell quality product and things are there's nothing fishy going on
Hmm.
here. It's guys like that that are in these
Yeah,
groups that will all of a sudden the next thing you know you're selling hundreds, thousands of units or whatever just because someone made the post about it and they're in one of those groups.
yeah, totally.
What
Yeah.
so what's the move going forward, right? Like obviously you mentioned you kind of started off in glass, you expanded from there, but like what are you guys doing to keep
Hmm.
OmniCube moving?
So we are at the very heart of what we do. We're a product
Mhm.
development company. So we have a number of engineers. We always keep our ear to the ground. So like trade shows and even these forums are very vital for us to like listen and learn. I'd say that's one of our greatest assets online is listening. So there's a concern, there's an issue, there's a hey, does anybody have a tool or know how to make this or blah, 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 blah. And then we'll kind of be like, hey, give us a couple of months, let us try to prototype something. And so at the very heart, we are an engineering company. And so we're constantly innovating. Me and the CEO this morning were just talking about, it's such there's such a range of our tools, and they keep getting like tweaked and changed for the better because we listen to the installers, which is like so important. So that's a great asset to have in a company. And so at the very heart is that. So to push on from that, then you're making new products, you're listening to people, everything is getting heavier and heavier. So stone, they're going bigger, they're going thicker, it's heavier. It's the same with glass. Actually, some of the glass that's going into buildings is made overseas simply because the US won't allow them to make such big pieces in the States, just because of the facilities and the factories and things like that. So a lot of it's shipped in from Germany. So it's getting ridiculous, the size of some of this stuff. And so as that change, we have to adapt. Okay, our carts, they're rated for £1,000. Well, that slab's now 1,200. So what are we going to do about it? So that's how we adapt. We have to be able to kind of move and jive with the times, because if you get stuck in something, you're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I see that. Did you do you guys have issues with? I mean, as of this recording, which is we're doing this in mid-May. By the time it goes out, who knows?
Yes.
But tariffs, were they an issue for you? Did it cause any problems? Based on that face, I'm assuming so.
It caused sleepless nights. Let me tell you, it's like you're going, what's happening? Like, seriously, can someone like sit me down and just explain and go, okay, just calm down. Everything's going to be all right. It did hit us hard. We worked through it. We have really good vendors. We have a good supply chain. That's one of the great benefits that COVID was. Everything else kind of sucked. But that made us as a company try to find multiple depths of vendors, which was very important, because sadly, some people went out of business just with everything, not because of the tariffs, but this last year and kind of the 6 months previous, just the dip that the economy took and how hard it was on people. And so, yeah, tariffs were fun, very fun, because we ship international. So we don't just do the US, we're in Canada, we're in Europe, we're in the UK, we're in Australia. So that was fun. That's a lot of fun times. A lot of phone calls, but we're able to get through it. And, thankfully, as we do this recording, things are starting to ease off a little bit, and there seems to be light at the end of the tunnel, which we're thankful for.
See. One of exactly.
We'll see.
It could change
Exactly.
by the time it comes out.
Yep.
One of my favorite things, obviously, to talk about, because of my own background, the marketing side. So you mentioned, obviously, you guys are kind of basically like the marketing company for it. What do you lean in on? Is it mostly social? Is it SEO? Is it email, Google advertising? Like, what do you see tends to work the best for you?
I think all of them. It's hard for us to pick one out. I love social posts, just because we can do like a quick video, we can do a picture, it can be uploaded, and boom, it's out there. Email blasts, you've got to be, make sure that everything's correct and how it should be, and spelling and grammar and all the rest, which is fine, but that's kind of more time consuming. SEO, vitally important. Constantly looking at that, tweaking it, and then correlating that to like a blog post. Like, what are the keywords we're missing? Let's make sure that that's working on there. I find the algorithms with a lot of, like, especially LinkedIn at the minute, it's frying my brain. I'm like, I thought I had it cracked, but then they change the rules, and you're like, well, I'm starting from ground zero. But a lot of that's good. But I would say social, with kind of more gritty videos, like quick, 30-second in and out, done. TikTok's the big thing, obviously, at the minute. But for sure, definitely those quick, informational, here's why you would buy it, here's how you buy it, and done, and then move on.
Are you doing advertising on any of those channels?
We do Google ads. We had paused it a little bit. We're going to take that back up. Obviously on Facebook we have different stuff, but it's so hard because there's certain times where you'll put an ad up and the next thing Facebook wants to close you down, and you're like, there's nothing. It's a tool. It's to help people. It's to keep them safe. What in the world is going on? But you just said the wrong word at the wrong time, and so you're like, come on. But no, it's interesting to see just how things change, even with different platforms. And then just sit back and watch. But
we've seen in similar industries to yours, the meta ad side can work really well. It's very interesting. Like you would think that it's not, because a lot of brands think like, oh, it's B2B. This has to be LinkedIn or Google or something like that. But the that whole like kind of gated content concept of like, here's, download a checklist or a PDF or whatever and get their contact and then work them as time goes on. Love that. Totally. So I assume you're creating your own video and stuff, probably in the back room there. Is that what you're talking about? It's awesome.
Yep. It's called a iPhone 16 and a video, and it's Merv telling the story of tools.
Love it.
Oh, the classics. Absolutely. Yeah. No, they actually work the best. We had gone away from them for a while and kind of done more like voiceovers, and they were kind of polished. For us in our industry, that doesn't work. You gotta show the tool in operation, the grittiness of it, how it works. The guys don't care if it's all shiny, brand new, and polished.
It's getting dirty.
I don't want that tool. I want exactly. First time they bring it out of the box, it's like, oh my word, I've got to wash this thing. It's not. So it's cool.
Merv, this is awesome. I really appreciate all the time you spent with us. I'd love to give you the opportunity, let everyone know where they can find out more about you and, of course, more about Omni Cubed.
Awesome. If you go online, you can find us at omnicubed.com. That's our website. Everything's on there. Information, all of our tools, where to buy, everything lives on our website. If you're on there, you can find me. You can find my number if someone wants to call, talk. If they have a predicament, they're trying to figure out how do I install with this type of material on here, just hook us up, give us a phone call. And then following on social platforms, like find us, like it's just Omni Cubed. So we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram and TikTok. So on YouTube Shorts.
Oh, nice.
I always forget about that one. We're on there too. So yeah, go check them out. We have a lot of pro overview videos that Muggins here's on that kind of are in more depth about the tools. So you get to learn a little bit more. Those are on YouTube. But yeah, go on our website, check us out, see who we are. We'd love to talk to whomever it may be.
Merv, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Everyone that tuned in, do the usual, rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff on whichever podcast platform you prefer, or head over to the ecommshow.com to check out all of our previous episodes. But as usual, thank you all for joining us. See you all next time. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ecomm Show. Head over to ecommshow.com to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on the BlueTuskr YouTube channel. The Ecomm Show is brought to you by BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company specifically for e-commerce sellers looking to accelerate their growth. Go to BlueTuskr.com now for more information. Make sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of The Ecomm Show.